Abusia, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, NPP presidential candidate for the 2024 general election, and form or no an former vice president Emma Ghana. Wabepa Ghana for Nacha, Sebi Akufado 8 years obedi so Ghana, Sebi, and you are Bonin obey into a no Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Ojina Akufado, and Nemuni MPP for any name, Pagana for Ghana form for MPP for any Akufado Bonnie and Channel. Now, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia been same way to Jawa land in Abra. MPP mpanyinfoɔ kɔyɛ town hall meeting ɛwɔ London na Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia de saa nsɛm no atuja ɔtoa so ka sɛ Ghanafoɔ ɛma MPP to me in 2028 a ɔno Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia no ɔbaa sɛbio nneɛma hunu a Akufo-Addo ana nneɛma bɔne a Akufo-Addo yɛyɛ no ɔno on repeat na ɔde saa nsɛm no atuja no ɛna senior lecturer a ɔwɔ UCC Dr. Jonathan Asante-Ochere, I reply Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Mumiankoti nsema Dr. Jonathan Asante-Ochere, editor. Mumiankoti.
Media platforms.
At the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Jonathan Asante-Ochere is joining us via Zoom to speak to this very issue. Good evening to you, and it's always good to have you join us.
Good evening, my dear, for a little point of correction, political analyst, not a political scientist.
Thank you very much for that correction. Now, an apology is what you and other political watchers had been calling for. Now, Dr. Bawumia says, we're sorry for our disappointing performance in the last general elections. What do you make of this?
Well, I can appreciate that political strategy that he's putting forth. You can never tell whether he's campaigning to be given another slot, another shot at that particular position, or he's just speaking on behalf of the party, still as the leader of the party. Sometimes you get a bit confused, especially when after elections, you have lost the elections, you're now in opposition, whether, you still hold yourself entirely as a leader of the party until the period that they conduct new elections. That in itself gives him a kind of leverage over his compeers, like the likes of Kennedy, Japan, and co. And so, as though he's still speaking for the party as a leader. That being said, of course, apology is good. Why not? It will more or less calm the nerves of those who feel angry. And then there will be some kind of unity of a sort of unity of, thought and so on and so forth. And so, I would say that it's a good political strategy, but as to whether it will work, only time will tell.
A good political strategy. Do you think he should have done this earlier?
Well, one, in the heat of the campaign, the heat of issues that Ghanaians were facing, whenever they complained about high cost of living, he said it was Russia invasion of Ukraine and that of COVID-19. Today, you have been able to outline the things that, might have caused your gargantuan defeat. Is it an afterthought or the benefit of hindsight? There are others who look at it from a hypocritical perspective, thinking that it is hypocritical on his part that when he was in government, he never saw a distance he really crippled the economy and created problems for all of us. And it is now that you want to lead a party again, you want to get a grassroots behind you, you want to get all those who are disgruntled to come back and support you. And now you are realizing that indeed, ABC indeed happened, certain missteps, were taken. You're only admitting it in opposition. It appears quite hypocritical though, but it is often said that we seem to know everything that we want to do when we're in opposition. When we get into government, we forget all the things that we said. And then, there are other factors that control our mindset. It's just unbelievable that with all beautiful ideas, you find yourself in government and you're not able to implement that. And you get opportunity again, come back. Well, we can see that with respect to Mr. Mahama, he's gotten the benefit of hindsight, he's studied the terrain, and he just doesn't want to make any mistake or any error. That second chance he's gotten is God-given. But Dr. Bawumia is equally asking for another opportunity, suggesting to us that 2028, MPP is likely to win the elections because the NDC will bring someone that is very new. I think that logic, I don't know where it is coming from, because I know that between the NPP and the NDC, even if they are bringing anybody new, they still have the capacity to market that particular person. They have the wherewithal, they have the resources to do that. So that should not be a trump card on the spot, thinking that, well, he has been on the ballot and therefore is likely to be. I don't think that is the case. What is rather crucial for the NDC are two things. One, the transition. If they're able to organize the transition without bickering and petty fighting, infighting, if the transition is done properly and they accept and, gather around that particular person, like NDC being a Congress, then there will be a very formidable force. Apart from that, the other trump card will be the economy. If Mr. Mahama maintains the economy and ensures the stability and growth, it will be very difficult for the NPP to win the elections in 2028. The other part, you also have to bear in mind that when you have a lot of representation on the ground in terms of parliamentary, seats, that serves as a structure for you to, either better it, or even if NPP will win some, there may be just a few. But to win the 2028 elections, I think it is mathematically and statistically impossible. I'll put it that way. Because they don't have the structure simply, they don't have the MPs. You have just a little over 80, they have 183 or so, still struggling for the other one. So structurally, in terms of the structure, at the constituency level, you don't have representation. So if those who have won those seats lead the constituency very well, it will be very difficult.
Do you feel, Dr. Santiago, do you feel he was speaking to his party members in Ghana, especially because he was speaking outside of the country, or you think wherever he spoke at didn't really matter or doesn't really matter?
Well, politics, you have to get your timing right. You have to get the strategy equally right. The audience too must be up, to the scratch. I think that there is nothing else that you could have said than to encourage them that, well, definitely, once he's given the opportunity, NPP will be able to do ABC and they will apologizing for this. As to whether the audience was the right one, well, I don't know. But wouldn't he have felt appropriately if he had delivered that in Ghana, for example, at a charged crowd of the NPP? I think that would have been better. It's as if those that you want to speak to, whether they have vote or they don't have vote, those who are disgruntled, those who are apathetic, they are in this country. So the focus should be here. And I think that one way or the other, they are implementing the Professor Michael Kwesi committee's report. They are just doing nitpicking and, implementing them one way or the other. That in itself gives an undue advantage for one particular individual, and that is Dr. Bawumia. If that is the case, if he still wants to appear like he's campaigning of a sort, the document must be available to all and sundry so that they can equally pick them out and implement, and speak about that so that it helps every potential individual. As it stands now, if he tells me that he's not subtly doing campaign, I think I will have my doubt. This is a form of subtle campaign, especially when the national office has issued, a dictum to the effect that campaigning has not been open. They've not opened nomination or campaigning, so nobody should campaign. But if you look at the subtle comment and statement that he's making, I believe that it is a sort of campaign.
Right, let's move away from this, Dr. Santiago, and look at another issue. Over the weekend, Burkina Faso authorities recognized the efforts of the late former President Jerry John Rawlings by naming a road after him. I'm sure you heard about this. What do you think this means for the two countries?
Well, you could appreciate the rapport between, Mr. Traore and that of Mr. Mahama. And so that, a good relationship is paying off. And of course, the rapport that existed between Mr. Rawlings, the late Mr. Rawlings, and that of Sankara, it was beautiful. And so Burkina is remembering. Look, Mr. Rawlings has really done a lot for this country in terms of even strengthening ECOWAS. You know, a period after a period, he was made a chairman, and he ensured that he gave neighbors that kind of opportunity to make sure they have, you know, a good rapport between the various countries and so on and so forth. So he did well. I mean, when there was the need for ECOMOG to move into Liberia, for example, he led that as well. And so he's really, really done well for this country and that of other neighboring countries. So I'm not surprised, you know, that he's been honored in that particular country. And Mr. Traore, though is a military, you know, ruler, which I believe that if indeed believes that the people really believe in him and he wants to lead the country, then he must resign or retire from the military. Let them conduct proper civilian elections so that he contests. And you have the mandate of the people. Other than that, day in, day out, not long ago, about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, they had to foil another coup. That will not stop. Even though you are doing well for your country, that will not stop. But the honor that they've given Mr. Rawlings is something that is due. Mr. Rawlings himself has not been a fan of that when he was alive, because I remember when the UDS, because it was his own personal award that he won for improving hunger in this country. UN also gave him that award. They gave him some dollars. That is what he used to set up UDS. I stand to be corrected. So they wanted to name the institution after him. He declined.
Dr. Santiotri, we're running out of time. If you can be brief, I'd very much appreciate it.
So such an honor that posthumously given is good.